They always accuse Canadian Conservatives of U.S.-style campaigning and being Republicans. I don't know if you remember, but way long ago, Stephen Harper gave a speech to some Americans once, and this became a scandal. Here's the state broadcaster at the time. Harper defends remarks to U.S. conservative movement. Conservative leader Stephen Harper faced questions over past remarks he made to an American conservative movement. Comments the Liberals claim prove his allegiance to a radical right-wing agenda. Let me read a little bit. The comment is quoted in one of a series of controversial ads the Liberals released earlier this week. One quotes a speech Harper made 8 years ago to a conservative American think tank. America, and particularly your conservative movement, is a light and an inspiration to people in this country and across the world. The ad quotes Harper as saying, yeah, it is. How is that controversial? That's the best they got. They dug up a speech he gave like 8 years earlier. But by contrast, the Liberals are deeply and completely linked to U.S. dirty tricksters in the Democrats. I mean, not just politicians. Here's Trudeau and Hillary Clinton in a photo, and here's Trudeau and George Soros in a photo. But here's a story in the Globe and Mail about Justin Trudeau's Liberals have quietly been getting regular advice from Jennifer O'Malley Dillon, Barack Obama's deputy campaign manager in the last U.S. presidential campaign. What? David Axelrod, Barack Obama's chief strategist, has been offering similar advice to the Trudeau team in the form of general encouragement during the election campaign. David Axelrod. Precision Strategies, Jen O'Malley Dillon, who worked with the Liberals, tweeted her congratulations to Trudeau advisors Gerald Butts, Katie Telford, and Jeremy Broadhurst, saying, "Hope and hard work every single day paid off. Proud," she wrote. O'Malley Dillon's firm also boasted of being honored to be a part of Team Trudeau on Twitter. There's so many, they're boasting about it. Two of Obama's campaign aides worked for Trudeau's campaign. That's the New York Times. The Liberals knew exactly who to go to as they were putting together their own data operation for the 2015 campaign. They hired Precision Strategies, a U.S. firm created by some of the masterminds behind the Obama campaign's data operation, including Jen O'Malley Dillon, the architect of Mr. Obama. Like, there's so many stories about it. They're boasting about it. They're not shy about it. The campaign was run by U.S. Democrats. It wasn't even a Canadian campaign. And these people were not shy and hiding from it because they knew the Canadian media is absolutely fine with foreign meddling as long as it's not American right-wingers. I mean, the environmental movement in Canada is largely financed from abroad, from Americans. The David Suzuki Foundation takes $1 million a year from foreigners to stop our oil and gas and forestry and fisheries industry, not to stop Russia's or Iran's or Saudi Arabia's. Isn't that odd? Imagine if the Conservatives had contracted out their campaign to the Republicans. You can't imagine it. They would never do it. But now we know they contracted out the work to the Obama Democrats. The work was done by the Obama Democrats, but the money came from communist China. That's what we've all found out. I mean, I wrote about it in in this book 3 years ago, China Virus, how Justin Trudeau's pro-communist ideology is putting Canadians in danger. The book wasn't even really about the pandemic. It was about China and communism being the virus. A lot of those facts are being rehashed now. There is some important news, of course. We're finding out that the money came from China and also that 11 candidates were favored by the communists in China, and money was even funneled through a sitting member of the provincial parliament. And look at this about Papineau. Papineau is Justin Trudeau's own riding. Here's Norman Spector, a pundit who used to be a Conservative in Victoria, who points out, in 2016, Justin Trudeau's Riding Association received nearly $70,000 from donors in the Vancouver Chinese community, 68% of all contributions for the year. The contributions were divided into 45 individual donations, not to exceed the maximum amount allowed. 68% of all donations in Trudeau's riding came from Chinese Canadians in Vancouver. Here's a picture of that list. Now, of course, Chinese Canadians are free to donate to whoever they want, just as any other ethnicity. But we've just learned from CSIS and others that the Chinese government took money and then laundered it to McGill University, laundered it to the Trudeau Foundation. Did they launder it with 45 people saying, here, donate $1,500 to Justin Trudeau in Papineau? Sure looks like it. And I come back to my opening point about projection. Everything they accused you of doing, they did. They accused you and the truckers from taking money from foreigners. They're the ones who took money from foreigners. They accused foreign interference on behalf of the truckers. There was none. Putin didn't do it. But foreign interference in their favors, both to run their campaigns and on the financing, you bet. And foreign propaganda, absolutely. Everything they accuse you of doing, they have done first. Today, Marco Mendocino made an announcement trying to shift the focus of this infiltration by Communist China. It was actually a re-announcement of other announcements that he's going to get to the bottom of this. Just you wait and see.
There remains much more work to be done. We are at a critical juncture when it comes to the security of our democratic institutions. And now we're taking another step in protecting them. Today, I'm announcing the launch of consultations to guide how we will set up a new foreign influence transparency registry in Canada. Consultations will involve direct engagements with communities, stakeholders, and the general public, and these consultations will inform the path forward. A virtual portal has also been set up on our Public Safety Canada website, where individuals will be able to submit their ideas. This process will begin now and conclude on May 9th. At its core, the purpose of our consultation will seek to do three things: foster transparency regarding legitimate foreign state lobbying and activities, modernize existing legislative authorities to address and mitigate foreign state activities that go beyond legitimate diplomacy in an attempt to clandestinely or deceptively manipulate Canada's open democracy, economy, and society, and finally, to broadly engage all Canadians in a conversation about how to protect our institutions from foreign interference in an inclusive manner that respects the diversity of our population and, of course, the Canadian Charter of Rights and Freedoms. I hope that all Canadians will take part in this exercise, and I, along with my colleagues, look forward to engaging through roundtable discussions in the coming weeks.
Yeah, more generic studies into the matter, not specific investigations into specific donations and specific MLAs and MPPs and MPs. Of course, do you doubt it for a second it will target Trudeau's enemies? That was an excerpt from the Ezra Levant Show. I'm Ezra Levant. Every weekday, I do a monologue about the topic of the day. Then I interview a fascinating guest either in studio or via Skype. And then I read your mail, whether it's fan mail or hate mail, which is sometimes even more interesting. This is on our premium service, though, called Rebel News Plus. Go to rebelnewsplus.com. It's $8 a month or less if you buy a whole year in advance. You get my show every weeknight, plus Sheila Gunn Reid's show every week. It's called The Gun Show. It's pretty amazing. You know, we rely on you because we do not take a dime from the government. In Canada, that makes us almost unique. So please help us out and help yourself to some great journalism at rebelnewsplus.com.